Hey guys, Josh from soccerreviewsforyou.com, bringing you my review plus on-feet video of the Adidas A16.1 PrimeKnit in the latest black, solar green, and shock pink colorway. Now inside the box they do include a string bag to go along with the shoes themselves. The string bag is solar green in color with black strings. You're going to find the PrimeKnit branding going down the side, as well as your Adidas football logo there at the bottom, which are both black in color. Other than that, all you're going to find inside the box, as you guys can see, are the shoes themselves. So we'll get these guys out of the box really quickly, and we'll take a closer look at the A16.1 PrimeKnit in black, shock pink, and solar green. So this, of course, is the laceless knitted shoe from Adidas, brand new, part of the A16 line. A lot of people are comparing this to the Pure Control model, which obviously is laceless, but I can tell you right off the bat at the start of this video, these are very, very different from the laceless version. So in this video, we're going to be going over all the tech specs and performance details that you should know about if you are at all interested in these things. We're going to take a closer look at the colorway, take a look at the weight, as well as talk about how these things fit and feel on feet. So if you're interested in learning more, please stick around and watch the entire video. If you're interested in a pair of these for yourself, be sure to check out the review page on my website. That'll be the very first link down below in the description of this video. On that page, you'll find buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes where you'll be able to pick these guys up below their normal $250 retail price. So again, if you're interested in a pair, first link down below, go ahead and check it out. And with that being said, let's get right into the review. To start things off, let's talk tech specs and general performance. Now, like I mentioned at the start of the video, a lot of people want to compare this shoe to the laceless Pure Control. And while they're technically PrimeKnit uppers, while they do have the same sole plate and stud pattern, the overall fit, feel, and general performance is very, very different. The two shoes are completely different products. So just keep that in mind if you are trying to decide between the two. Now, with this particular shoe, it does of course feature a PrimeKnit upper, again, like the Pure Control model, but unlike the Pure Control model, this is a lot softer, a lot more flexible, and provides a much more natural sensation in terms of how the PrimeKnit upper feels on your foot and how it moves with your foot, just because it doesn't have that same kind of firmer synthetic liner on the inside of the shoe. This does have a liner, but it's a thin mesh layer. Then you have your PrimeKnit, then you have your polyurethane layer on top, you have your non-stop grip dots, and then you actually have the Adidas branding, which are TPU plastic bands that are fused right to the surface of the upper. They're not thick, they're not really stiff or anything like that, but it is a firmer synthetic material that isn't going to stretch. So when you pull the laces tight, it pulls on these Adidas stripes or these bands and just helps to keep your foot locked in through the midfoot area of the shoe without really adding too much in the way of stiffness or kind of taking away from the softness of the actual PrimeKnit synthetic, which is really, really nice. So as far as touch on the ball is concerned, as you guys can see, the upper is very soft. It's very, very flexible, definitely thinner than the Pure Control. And I guess if I had to compare it to any other knitted model out there, it would be something like the Magista Obra, although this does feel a little bit thinner to me. It doesn't feel quite as padded, mainly because it does have a thinner liner than what you're going to find on the Obra. But for the most part, the touch is very, very good. If you're looking for that kind of thin but slightly padded feel just because of the knitted base that you have with this upper, that's what you get from the A16.1 PrimeKnit. Midfoot, again, you do have that reinforcement from the Adidas stripes. It doesn't feel overly stiff, but it is definitely noticeably stiffer than what you're going to find in the forefoot area. The laces run through the middle, as you guys can see. You have the non-stop grip dots on the surface of the upper that essentially are your wet control element, similar to Nike's ACC technology, but again, not something that's really going to make or break your experience with the shoe. For the most part, you don't really get much in the way of extra grip on the ball with this particular shoe, or really any of the A16.1 or A16 models. Now, the way the lacing system works, or the enclosure system I should say, is kind of interesting because when you actually remove the laces, you can see how the enclosure system is. It's kind of similar to the laceless model, but at the same time a little bit different. So what you have here is a standard design going around the heel area. Then you have this extension piece, which is of course your prime cut collar, that really has no impact on the fit or feel of this shoe at all, but that's directly attached to this internal kind of secondary enclosure system that, again, kind of spans the tongue and then wraps down the side through the midfoot, giving you that extra layer of kind of reinforcement, stability, as well as lockdown. So it's kind of similar to the system that you find currently in the X15 Plus PrimeKnit, where you do have that little bit of PrimeKnit material running down the side of your midfoot, which is really, really nice. So even when you slide these shoes on prior to tying the laces, it has that nice kind of snug fit. But then, of course, when you pull the laces tight, it pulls on these support systems, locks everything in place, and gives you that kind of good lockdown sensation that you would expect from a pair of soccer shoes. There is a memory foam insert running through the middle of this tongue area, so there is a little bit just to take away from lace bite and just add a little bit of extra padding, which is nice. You have all the little cutouts in the tongue that they say is a performance feature, but in all honesty, it's not going to impact performance in any way at all. And again, this collar area, this is an elasticated PrimeKnit. It doesn't wrap your ankle perfectly. It does fit a little bit more snug than what you're gonna find on the Pure Control model, but in all honesty, it's not something you even notice at all when you're playing. And what I like about this shoe, being that it is a knitted model, and I guess what you could consider to be a mid-cut shoe, is that unlike the Pure Control or really any of the Nike models, there's no extra pressure, there's no firmness in the heel. This really does kind of fit and feel kind of like a standard low-cut shoe when you put them on, which is really, really nice. So the break-in period, I guess, is less severe to a certain extent. The liner is actually a knitted finish with some nice padding back there. And then at the very base, there is some synthetic suede. I can't actually show you because it's all black in color, but there is some synthetic suede down there as well. And like I said, the general comfort out of the box in the heel area is above average for this style of shoe, just meaning that you can break them in a little bit more easily based on my experience with them. Insole, fully removable, mesh liner on top, perforations through the midfoot and forefoot area. It's just a single layer of foam, same insole we've seen on the Ace line. I'm going back to the 15.1, so nothing too fancy, but it does get the job done. And then of course you do have a sprint frame construction, which we've seen from Adidas in the past. They've brought it back here with the A16 line. You got a one-piece heel counter, which is nice. The TPU plastic outsole, which it has the stiffener bars running through the midfoot and heel area, giving you nice rigidity in that part of the shoe. While the forefoot, while it is stiffer than you might expect based on the thickness of the actual sole plate, it does get more flexible over time and really didn't lead to any issues for me personally. As far as the stud pattern is concerned, again, it's kind of something we've seen from Adidas many times in the past, but this time around it is being labeled as an FGAG stud pattern. I have used this stud pattern on firm natural grass as well as artificial grass, and it works well on both surfaces. This has really up until now been an FG only stud pattern for Adidas, but all of a sudden they did decide to brand it as an artificial grass stud pattern as well. And on artificial grass, while the studs are a little bit longer than I would personally like them to be, and while it doesn't feel like a true AG stud pattern, it does get the job done. It never really feels unsafe. It never really feels clingy. And like I said, if you want to buy one pair of shoes for use on artificial grass as well as firm natural grass, you can get away with it here with the A16 line and this, what is quote unquote an FGAG stud pattern. So again, as far as general performance is concerned, I'm really, really pleased with the A16.1 PrimeKnit. I much prefer this shoe over the laceless Pure Control for, I guess, reasons that are fairly obvious if you watched any of my reviews on the Pure Control model. But for me, the shoe is very comfortable. It's more natural. It's more sock-like than what you get from the laceless model. And really, it's one of the best mid-cut knitted shoes on the market, if that's what you're looking for. In terms of weight, the A16.1 PrimeKnit is relatively light. So for the sake of this video, I'm gonna be weighing them for you today in real time using this scale. Keep in mind, this is a brand new pair in a size 9 US. We're gonna throw them on the scale, and you can see that they weigh in at 8.1 ounces, the equivalent of 229 grams, which in comparison to the laceless Pure Control model in the same size and condition is about 3 grams more, essentially nothing. There's not a weight difference between these and the laceless model. And for the most part, like I said, it is a relatively lightweight shoe. This to me fits a lot better and feels a lot more comfortable than the laceless model, which I guess is worth noting if you were planning on kind of picking up one or the other. And if you're talking about weight specifically, when compared to the mid-cut Flyknit models from Nike, the Obra and the Superfly 4, these are about a full ounce heavier. So the Nike models are a little bit lighter, but like I said, for the most part, this is a relatively lightweight shoe. You're really not gonna have any issues with the weight. And again, as long as you aren't looking for something that is extremely light, you shouldn't have any issues at all with how these things feel on feet. As far as the colorway is concerned, honestly, I don't think it looks bad. It's essentially the opposite of what you got from the launch color, where the green is now black and the black is now green. So you have a predominantly black upper, which I don't think looks bad at all. And then of course you have the shock pink and solar green as accent colors in the Adidas stripes, which have this interesting kind of fade pattern. You have the green laces here, the stripes continue across the top of the tongue, the Ace branding in pink at the top as well, the Adidas logo in pink on the back of the heel, and then of course the tips of the studs are translucent pink with some green accents on the base of the sole as well, with the majority of the sole plate being translucent black in color. So again, I'm not crazy about this particular colorway. I don't think it looks bad. I would prefer it over the launch color just because I prefer shoes that are a little bit less flashy. But for the most part, I don't think this is a bad looking shoe at all. We just haven't seen any really good colorways yet. I much prefer this colorway on the laceless Pure Control model just because that one has more detail to it. I really like the kind of silver glitter sparkle that the upper has on that particular pair. But again, this doesn't look bad. It's just not my cup of tea as far as colorways go. So let me know your opinion on these down below in the comment section. Do you like how these look? Why or why not? And with that being said, let's move on to the on-feet portion of the video so we can get a better idea as to how these shoes fit and of course what the sizing is like. All right, so here is a look at the A16.1 PrimeKnits on feet. On my left foot, I have the stock green laces that come with the shoes. And on my right foot, I have a pair of pink and black grid pattern SR4U replacement laces. If you're interested in a pair of replacement laces for yourself, the website to go to is www.sr4ulaces.com. You find a direct link to that website down below in the description of this video. Now, in terms of how these things fit and feel on feet, they're actually very comfortable from right out of the box. Again, like I said earlier in the video, this is technically a mid-cut model, but really it has a standard design with a little extension piece. So for the most part, the fit in the heel, which does feel strange on the mid-cut models from Nike, you don't really get that sensation with this shoe. For the most part, it feels pretty normal. Is it completely the same as a regular low-cut shoe? No, but like I said, it doesn't feel too far off. There's not a whole lot of getting used to with the fit of this particular shoe. It's relatively comfortable from right out of the box. The upper, especially in the forefoot and toe box area, it's knitted, it's soft, it's flexible, feels very natural on your foot, but the midfoot with those kind of TPU plastic thin reinforcements in the actual Adidas stripes, when you do pull those laces tight, there is a noticeable amount of, I guess, stiffness and firmness through the midfoot that you don't get in the forefoot area. That isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it does make the shoe fit a little bit tighter through the midfoot than you find at the heel as well as the forefoot area of the shoe. Comfort-wise though, pretty good. Really not really any issues when it comes to break-in. They fit, like I said, pretty good from right out of the box. As far as width is concerned, it's not a super wide shoe. It's not one of those shoes that's going to stretch, especially through the midfoot, but they will be suitable for most people. I guess as long as you don't have excessively wide feet, you shouldn't have any issues as far as width is concerned. And as far as sizing goes, I'm wearing my usual size 9 US here, and the fit and the length is absolutely perfect. So if you are looking to order a pair of these for yourself, I would strongly recommend going true to size in order to achieve the best possible fit. All right, guys, that is it for my review of the Adidas A16.1 PrimeKnit. If you guys are looking for more info, be sure to check out the review page on my website. That'll be the very first link down below in the description of this video. On that page, you'll find the high quality images of this exact pair that I took myself. That'll give you a better idea as to how these actually do look in person, as well as buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes where you'll be able to pick these up below their normal $250 retail price. So again, if you're interested in a pair, first link down below, go ahead and check it out. If you have any questions at all regarding the A16.1 PrimeKnit, leave them down below in the comments and I definitely will get an answer out to you. If you enjoyed today's video, found it helpful and informative, be sure to support it with a like. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all my social media information linked in the description as well. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. And as always, thanks for watching.